can you please mute your sound?
And good morning, Unity of Albany. And a lovely, sunny, if slightly cold morning. So here's a time you can count your blessings that you didn't have to drive into church this morning.
I call days like this a blue and gold day. It's blue and gold, the sun is shining, the blue sky, but it's cold.
Yeah. How cold was it in Cobleskill this morning?
It was less than 10 degrees in Cobleskill this morning. It was single digits.
Wow. We're going to start, and we get in tune.
He's playing a tune called Tuning.
Yes. So we invite you to open yourself up to Spirit, and as we allow ourselves to be a sanctuary of God's presence, of Spirit's presence this morning. Each of us is that, especially when we tune into it and allow it, and then we come together. We're in the sanctuary. You're in here with us. Here we go. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me. Lord, prepare me. Lord, prepare to be a sanctuary. To be a sanctuary. Pure and holy. Tried and true. With thanksgiving. With thanksgiving. I'll be a living. I will be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living And we'll allow another sanctuary for the beloved to come through, and that's Paul Framont. Come on in, Paul.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Unity Church in Albany. I'm a former member of the board, and today I'll be your platform assistant. Okay. We want to welcome everybody to our service today, and in particular, we want to welcome anybody who this is your first time. If this is your first time tuning into a Unity service, we would like you to know that our community is devoted to promoting our spiritual self and getting in touch with the spirit that created us. And we hope that we can help you do the same. So first, I want to start off with a prayer. This prayer is from Deb Engel, and her book says the shortest prayer you'll ever need. So let's be quiet and listen, and it's going to be quick. Spirit, please heal my fear-based thoughts. 7 words, and you can memorize it and use it all day long. And you can use it to leave your fears aside and show out the love that is truly you and that you were created to share. Again, since it's so short, let's say it one more time. Spirit, please heal my fear-based thoughts. And thank you. If we were at church today, we would clap when we enjoyed the music. We would make noise and sing along. We invite you to do some singing and making noise out in cyberspace. So there's a chat room on the screen. Send your messages and your love on the chat room, or tweet or text, whatever is your cyberspace way of communicating. Please do it. Is this coming out? And now we have announcements. Today's guest speaker is John Welshons, our good friend, and he's been with us before, and we know him and love him. And the talk today is the inevitability of change and the power of acceptance. And also, he will have a workshop this afternoon from 1 to 3. And I will let John talk a little bit about the workshop right now.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Paul. Our workshop this afternoon will continue to deal with change. And one of the core teachings in Buddhist practice is the recognition that everything is impermanent, meaning everything changes. And that one of our greatest sources of suffering in life is the fact that sometimes things change in a way we don't want them to. Other times we want things to change and they don't. But they're constantly changing. So the question is whether we can open our hearts and find acceptance and peace with the way things change, or whether we're going to continue to suffer. So that's what it's about. And I'd also like to just point out that when we talk about acceptance in this context, it isn't complacency. It means that we learn, in order to have peace and inner harmony, we have to be able to be at peace with the world the way it is, and our life the way it is, and our body the way it is. Then we can do everything we can to change it. But the most effective change comes when we accept things as they are. So do join us. We'll be doing this online on Zoom this afternoon, starting at 1 o'clock, just a little bit after the service. So thank you for joining us this morning, and join us at 1 o'clock if you can. Namaste.
Thank you, John. And on our screen is the way you can register for this seminar. And one of the things on this screen is the way you get to the screen is go to unityalbany.org, up on the top, unityalbany.org. And that's the way you get to just about anything that's going on at Unity Church. So in fact, these all the announcements today will be there. So unityalbany.org. Are you an active member? We are having an election coming up in early March. Okay, we skipped one. Okay, Wednesday night. We've started in the last couple of weeks. There's a group studying a book, Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. I was at the session last Wednesday. It was a great session, maybe 20, 25 people on the Zoom call. And so you can learn how to, your attitude about prosperity, and learn how to be prosperous and be grateful for the prosperity that you have. Again, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Again, you go to unityalbany.org or our newsletter, and there'll be a link to this class. Oh, okay. See. Are you an active member? We're having an election coming up in March, and to vote in the election, you need to be an active member. It's easy, just go to unity.org, click on membership, and say, I want to be an active member. That's it, it's done, and you can vote, and you'll be an active member for the next 2 years. Tonight, 7 o'clock, it's an even numbered Sunday, and so we will have Roger and the music team. The theme is illumination. Again, tonight at 7. And you can click in and zoom in on YouTube through the newsletter or for unityalbany.org. Sunday fellowship, right after the service, 12:30. Just like going downstairs for coffee, although you have to bring your own coffee. But fellowship with your friends and your fellow congregants, and have a great time. Next 3 weeks, this is exciting news. I'm looking forward to it. We have 3 important guest speakers, our own Reverend Roger Mock. The week after that, our own Carol Morris, and the week after that, our own Gerri Ratigan. So put it on your calendar and be there and be excited. Prayer support. There's a phone number on the screen, and again, it's at unityalbany.org. You call that, and we have a team, probably 15 or so prayer chaplains that will pray for your intention every day of the month for 30 days and then pass it on to Silent Unity for more prayer. These can be gratitude, health concerns, job concerns, any topic that interests you, bring it up and we'll pray for it. And now we have a daily word. And the theme is, I am divine. Over the years, I have learned there is a spark of divinity within me and within all people. This divine spark binds us as members of one family and deepens our awareness of God. Today, my understanding of my divinity expands. My divine nature is so much more than a spark. It is my essence. It is who I truly am. I realize I don't have to rely on anything outside of myself for love, comfort, and guidance. Everything I could ever need from God is already mine and expressing as me. My realization of oneness extends to all people whom I now see as fellow divine beings. Freed from all illusions of separation, I am aware of the divine presence everywhere, expressing through everyone. We are divine. And biblical reading from John, that they all may be one, as you, Father, are one in me, and I am in you, and may they also be in us. Amen. And now back to Roger and the music team.
Okay, thank you, Paul. During the announcements, I was feverishly looking through registrants for John's workshop this afternoon, and I saw several of you register this morning. It's set up so that you're supposed to get a link from PayPal to the page where the Zoom link is. So far, I haven't heard of anyone actually finding that. So we'll be sending it out. Not to worry if you're registering this morning during the service. We'd like to have all registrations in by 12:30, though. That would be very helpful. Okay. Here's a song that was sung a couple times on Wednesday in a public way. You may have heard. We're going to sing it this morning. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved my soul. So welcome again. Happy to have you here, and now I have to adjust my mind to be Steve for a moment and remember what I'm supposed to do. And one of those things is, at this point in the service, we do a few statements now. We do our vision and mission and another one we'll get to. So together we're going to say our new vision statement, which is a world transformed through the spiritual awakening of all. When we do these, I invite you just to really tune into these phrases, these words, and really put that vision out there as we say it. Let's look at our new mission statement. It's mostly pretty familiar, slight changes. Together, we awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service in our community and in the world. And then, thirdly, our statement of oneness. Together, the power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, the all-loving goodness of God. Yes, and I almost went back to the old one. The all-loving goodness of God. I love that. We borrowed that from another Unity ministry. Saw it there. I thought, oh, that's really good. So thank you. We're going to go into our meditation song, after which Ramanada, John Welshons, will lead us in meditation time. So we invite you to join us in this song, Deeper I Surrender. And as we sing it, we invite you to surrender deeply to the presence of the divine within you and among us here. Got to do a little quick reaching. Deeper and deeper I surrender. Deeper and deeper I surrender to this love. Deeper and deeper I surrender. Deeper and deeper I surrender to this love. There's nowhere I have to go, no one I have to be, nothing I have to do but gently breathe. Deeper and deeper I surrender. Deeper and deeper I surrender to this love. Deeper and deeper I surrender. Deeper and deeper I surrender to this love. Deeper and deeper I
Deeper and deeper we surrender. I invite you to gently close your eyes and just sit comfortably. Sitting gently upright, softening and coming fully into this moment. This love that was mentioned in that beautiful song is the love within us, the divine within us. So let us use this time together to tune into that place of pure, unconditional, unlimited love. So let's begin by breathing in and out of our hearts. Feel the breath coming directly into your chest as if you had a third nostril in the center of your chest. A large nostril that allows lots of air to enter. And allow your body to soften, to open, to be receptive. To let go of the stresses and strains and battles of every day, so that you can come into the place of pure peace that is always within you. Breathing in and out of your heart, feel the breath coming in and caressing your heart, soothing your heart, touching all of the parts of you that are hurt and frightened with love. If you feel any tightness or hardness around your heart, in this moment, when you are safe, see if you can just let them soften. The breath flows into the heart, caresses the physical heart, soothes the soul, and helps us to find the way into our inner light, which we call the Hridayam, the point of pure light within us, the place that our Creator inhabits in our being, always present within us. The light that created this entire universe, as present in us as it is in every other being, every other form. So that as we breathe in and out of our heart and begin to tune to this light of love, we begin to recognize that there is nothing but this light of love. It's all there is. And all these forms that we see and experiences that we have are just this one light manifesting in a seemingly infinite number of different ways. So just breathe in and out of your heart. Feel that inner light growing, expanding, filling every cell of your being, reaching into every place in your physical body, your emotional body, every place in you that's yearning for healing. Let the light, the infinite, miraculous, radiant light in the center of your being flow into every part of you that hurts, every part of you that's frightened, every part of you that feels alone, and know that you are never alone, that you are loving awareness. No one you have to be in this moment, nothing you have to do. Just come back home. Tune into the place of love and pure awareness that is always present within you, has always been present within you, and always will be present with you, in you, and around you. Pure, radiant, infinite light of unconditional love. So let's just float together in that light for a couple of moments in silence. Breathing in and out of the heart. Breathing into the light and allowing the light to expand outward in all directions without limit. I am loving awareness. Breathing in and out of the heart. Floating in the light of love. I am loving awareness. We are loving awareness. In a moment, I'll ring the gong 3 times. Just allow your eyes to stay closed. Hear the sound of the gong as one more sound arising, existing, changing, and passing away. Floating in the light of love. And after the 3rd ringing of the gong, we'll keep our eyes closed for another moment or 2. Breathing in and out of the heart. Floating in the light of love. Awakening to the reality. The voice from your own heart calling to you, I am loving awareness. When it feels comfortable, gently open the eyes. Namaste. Good morning again. So as we move from meditation into our message this morning on the inevitability of change and the power of acceptance, there are symbols that we use in meditation practice that help us to remember how it all is. And one of those is the gong. The sound of the gong and the fact that the gong arises out of nothing, exists for a period of time, changes, and passes away. When we do our meditation practice, if we do what's called anapanasati or mindfulness of breathing, basically one of the elements of the practice is to watch that each breath we take arises out of nothing, exists for a period of time, changes, and passes away. We breathe in, we breathe out. We breathe in, we breathe out. Sometimes I bring with me the the symbol of the Tao, the circular symbol of the Tao, which has a curved line in the center of it. And on one side of the line, it's dark, and on one side of the line, it's light. And then in the center of the darkness is a circle of light. In the center of the light is a circle of darkness. And the point is that everything in this physical universe is one. There is only one light. But it manifests in form, and when it manifests in form, it manifests in what's sometimes called duality, which means opposites. So that if we have light and bring it into form, it's going to cast a shadow, darkness. And at some level, our struggles in life are about the fact that sometimes we're in the darkness and we want to be in the light. There's another part of us that's in the light and wants to be in the darkness. It's a fascinating tension, a fascinating dichotomy. And the ways it plays out in our spiritual life, on our spiritual path, are quite extraordinary. I was looking to one of my favorite teachers, and I'm sure a beloved teacher for many of you, Pema Chodron, and I was looking at this wonderful book, one of her most recent, called Welcoming the Unwelcome. And of course, the question that might come to mind is, why would we welcome the unwelcome? Well, because if it presents itself in our life, then in order to find happiness and peace, we have to find a way to be at peace with what it is we don't like. That doesn't mean we don't work to change it. It means that right now it is what it is. And I was just thinking of some communications I've gotten from people recently. One came, about a week ago, from a woman in California. And she wrote to tell me that she was kind of in a panic because she had expended all of her resources, and she had a high amount of credit card debt, and she was trying to find her way in life, and she was sure that that her spiritual path would become something that she would share with other human beings, and that after all, if that's what the universe wants, it should provide an income. Instead of providing an income, it was providing an income, but not enough to cover her expenses. I'm laughing, but having been through that myself, it's something that's so familiar to so many of us on the spiritual journey. So I wrote back to her, and she was asking for help. She said, what do I do? How do I relate to this? How do I find the next step? And I wrote back and I said, today I don't have the time to really answer fully. But all I'll say is this. I said, what you're describing is very much what my life was like 20 years ago. And it was what inspired me to write the book, When Prayers Aren't Answered, which many of you know, the original title was What to Do When Prayers Aren't Answered the Way We Want Them to be. In other words, when things won't change the way we want them to change. And I sent that out. A couple of days later, I got a letter back from her saying, I just unexpectedly got a lump sum of money. Everything is fine and prayer works. And it was sort of like, take that. And I thought, well, wonderful. We have spoken many times when I've been with you about the influences in my life, my family, my parents being married by Norman Vincent Peale, the power of positive thinking, my father introducing me to Emmett Fox's teachings. I was thinking of Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. I think it's interesting that she didn't title it You Can Change Your Life. She titled it You Can Heal Your Life. And so that's very interesting. And I thought back to that moment that I probably shared with you when I was very happy, and this goes back like 35 years or something. I was working with Stephen and Andrea Levine, and I had just met a new woman, and I was totally in love. And I called up to tell Stephen, share with him my good fortune and my joy. And he, great Buddhist teacher that he was silent for a moment. And he said to me, watch out for the fall after this one. Now, I thought, at a moment, my mind said, can't he ever be joyful? Does it always have to be about what else is going to happen? And the truth is that he was quite joyful. He had a great sense of humor and one of the most extraordinarily loving and compassionate hearts I've ever known. But he was offering me a dose of truth, which was that if you like what's happening right now, watch out because it's inevitably going to change. Inevitable. Now, it may stay the way you like it for a long time, or it may change quite unexpectedly. Just before Christmas, I got a message from another dear friend of mine who has been living, a pretty happy life. He has a great job, good income, beautiful home, lots of travel. And he called to tell me that just a few days earlier, he had been diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of cancer that by the time he had realized that he had it, it had already metastasized all over his body. And the worst of it was that he was experiencing extraordinary pain from the tumors and the ancillary problems the tumors were creating. And I've been keeping in touch with him since then, and he's been going to Sloan Kettering and coming back frustrated because he goes to get treatment for the pain, and they wind up not being able to treat him because he's got something else going on, and they have to give him more tests. And so here we are within just over a month from his diagnosis. I'm wheeling him in a wheelchair to my vehicle to drive him for treatment. And he, at about the age of 60, is saying to me, I'm getting so tired of this. Now, what does he want? What change does he want that isn't happening? And how does he deal with this unexpected change that came to him? Now, for many of us, a change came in our government this past week, and preceded by a circumstance that had never occurred in the history of the United States, certainly not in about 150 years or more, since the British invaded our capital. I forget the year, early 1800s. And there was a change that led to other change that some of us liked and many Americans didn't like. And so from the spiritual point of view, what leads us to equanimity? What leads us to joy? What leads us to peace? You know, you get you're going through a panic about finances and suddenly you get an unexpected sum of money. Wonderful. That's great. But eventually it may be gone. You know, maybe you get more, maybe you don't. And the thing is, we don't know. And we don't know, I don't think it has anything to do with what your mind might define as spiritual entitlement. In other words, I'm a good person. I should be treated well by the universe. I keep my mind in alignment. I keep my heart open. I love everyone. I trust in the universe's beneficence, and I'm just open to receive it. Well, that's lovely. Except that it often ignores the teaching that my friend Stephen gave me. Watch out for the fall after this one. You know, I have seen so many people over the years. What's one of the things that human beings most yearn for? A beautiful romantic relationship, right? We don't want to be alone. We want a partner that we can love, who loves us and shares life with us. And yet I've seen many, many circumstances where somebody meets that person and then a little bit of time later, a short time later, many years later, but eventually one of the partners is going to die. It could be at an early age, like my friend Richard Carlson, who wrote Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And he was in this beautiful marriage. I don't know anyone, I've never known anyone who loved his family more than Richard did. And he was just this brilliant, bright, wonderful light, you know, a very angelic being. And he died one day on an airplane flying from San Francisco to New York. I was supposed to see him the next day. At the age of 45, pulmonary embolism. Now, I don't want to be a downer, like my friend Stephen. But my teaching has always been about facing life as it is, because that's the only way we can ultimately be happy. There are spiritual paths that are all about positive thinking and affirmations, and I think positive thinking is beautiful. You'll be much happier if your mind is filled with positive thoughts than if it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? But in your soul, it might be very helpful to know that something is going to change, and it may change in a way that you're not happy with. And it's good when that happens to realize, number one, that is not necessarily a mistake the universe has made. It's just the way the universe is. The universe is constantly changing. Light is coming in, darkness is happening. It's all this amazing karmic stew of polarities. It can't be otherwise. Now, you could have a life that on the surface seems incredibly wonderful. Like I have a dear friend I've known since high school, and his family and his other friends look at him and say, has there ever been a luckier guy than him? But he's also very hardworking, incredibly hardworking and incredibly smart. And he's made a lot of money. And he's the kind of person who always seems to be in the right place at the right time, making the right move. It's really quite extraordinary. And, you just stand back and marvel and shake your head and say, isn't that wonderful? But he's had suffering in his life. He's had things that have happened that have been unwelcome. And the truth of the matter is that all that money and all the joy in material things isn't going to amount to anything at the moment when the moment comes that it's time for him to leave this planet. And we never know when that is. So that is all the reason that we work to be in the moment, that our right effort on the path of meditation is to learn to live in the moment, because this moment right now is the only moment that is real. And now, if you think of now as this infinite, eternal moment, because it's always now, it's never any moment other than now. So while the external forms of life, including our bodies, keep changing, sometimes they change in a way we like. Sometimes they change in a way we don't like. Sometimes our bodies are sources of great joy and pleasure. Sometimes they're sources of great pain and suffering. And that's just the way it is. Again, you may have an incarnation, a special lifetime in which pain and suffering are minute, seemingly, but they will happen. Or you may have a lifetime in which suffering seems overwhelming throughout your life. I mean, we've all, many of us listening probably had lives or know people who have had lives where we look and say, wow, that person has really been through the mill. Stephen Levine once said to me, he said, one moment of pure love, pure awareness, pure joy, one moment of touching the peace that passeth all understanding, that lives within us always, one moment of that would counteract a lifetime of suffering. The extraordinary experience of literally being the light that created us, seeing that, being it, becoming one with it, will wipe out all the rest. And conversely, no matter how much material joy you may have, it will never be equivalent to that moment of touching the light within you. And the best way to touch the light within you is to live in the moment, to be here now. And that requires accepting things as they are. So knowing that something happens politically that just makes your skin crawl, it's going to change. May get worse, but it might get better. The point is that the place of equanimity and peace is always within you. Same thing when your body is going through stuff. A wonderful quote from Stephen Levine. He said, consider the possibility that the resistance to the pain And the fear pain may evoke may actually be more painful than the pain itself. The resistance to the pain and the fear the pain may evoke may be more painful than the pain itself. Notice how the resistance closes your heart and fills your body and mind with tension and dis-ease. Keep relaxing the resistance, the tightness that has accumulated around the pain. Soften around the pain. That applies also to situations in the world where you look and you say, this is just too painful. The guidance to soften around that is particularly meaningful, because only when you soften around it and accept that this world, just like our bodies are susceptible to pain and disease, this world has a lot of quirks to it. This planet is a difficult place to incarnate. It's a place where we come to learn very powerful, but often painful lessons. Softening, the ability to soften in the middle of those lessons, is the greatest key to transitioning through them and creating meaningful healing change in our bodies, in our lives, in our world. Pema Chodron said this: when we resist change, it's called suffering. But when we can completely let go and not struggle against it, when we can embrace the groundlessness of our situation and relax into its dynamic quality, that's called enlightenment. Now, would most of us like to live in a world where our bodies are radiantly healthy and our lives are unendingly joyful and our government is loving and peaceful and kind and generous and honest? Would we all love to live in that world? Well, we think so. We think so. But that apparently is not the planet that we've incarnated on. So my suggestion would be to learn to be at peace with the bodies we've incarnated in and the planet we've incarnated on. Learn to find the joy that's within us, because that joy never goes away. It's always present. The peace within us never goes away, always present within us. And that infinite unconditional love that is at the core of our being, always within us, never goes away. So our job spiritually is to learn to quiet all the voices of resistance and frustration and anger and non-acceptance that arise in our mind, and soften into what is. That is what paves the way for peace. That's what paves the way for healing. Now, before we end this morning, I do want to mention that one of our beloved members of the Unity of Albany community, Kathy Williams, is going through a very difficult time. And a couple of members of the church, including Heather Diddell, are organizing members of the church to just sort of offer support of various kinds to Kathy. So if you know Kathy, or you're in a position to be of loving assistance to her, please get in touch with Heather Diddell, and she'll tell you what's happening. Very good thing, good karma to do seva, spiritual service. I want to finish by reading this beautiful statement from Mother Teresa. She says, I used to pray that God would feed the hungry or do this or that. But now I pray that God will guide me to do whatever I'm supposed to do, whatever I can do. I used to pray for answers, but now I'm praying for strength. I used to believe that prayer changes things, but now I know that prayer changes us and we change things. Well, as always, it's been an absolute delight being with you this morning, sharing truth, sharing love, sharing the light. And I send you all blessings. I give special thanks to Roger Mock, who just so quietly and gently keeps everything flowing at Unity of Albany. And to Carol and Gerri and Pete for your wonderful music this morning, and to Paul and everyone who has been a part of bringing this service together this morning. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, John. And for Terry, who's jumped in for the AV this morning.
Terry. Thank you, Terry.
Terry, is this guitar coming through? Number 12, or I think it is. So we had John and Paul with us this morning, and now George is about to make an appearance. We don't know about Ringo, but, and just wait to see if my guitar comes through. Here it is. Okay, great. Song that George Harrison wrote actually began it down the road here in Woodstock in the late 60s, based on some lines from the Tao Te Ching. Here we go. 3, 4. Sunrise doesn't last all morning. A cloudburst doesn't last all day. Seems my love is up and has left you with no warning. But it's not always gonna be this great. All things must pass. All things must pass away. Sunset doesn't last all evening. A mind can blow those clouds away. After all this, my love is up and must be leaving. But it's not always going to be this great. All things must pass. All things must pass away. All things must pass. None of life's strings can last. So I must be on my way. Face another day. Now the darkness only stays at night time. In the morning it will fade away. Daylight is good at arriving at the right time. It's not always gonna be this great. All things must pass. All things must pass away. All things Okay, well, we come to the time of our offering now. Many of you, I'm sure, have already made your offerings. Anyone that's new, that's easily done on our website at unityalbany.org. Every page there's a donation button. So you just go in there and hit that and use PayPal. Send us a check as well to Unity Albany at 21 King Avenue here in Albany. But with that in mind, we're going to say together our offering statement. So together, divine love flowing through me,
blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. We have an offering song to sing from our friend Charlie Thweet.
We come from the beyond and return there again, here for a moment in time, to give all we can here between heaven. We're between just a story we're making up? Are we thoughts in the mind of God? Is this all just a journey to remember to love, no matter what trials may come?
I choose to remember to stay awake, no matter the situation, and with every turn they always make love my initiation.
Here between heaven, here between heaven.
Into darkness life might take me, into places of pain, and I might feel the same.
Tonight I can go freely, where compassion is known and my heart is my home. Here between heaven, we're between heaven. We come from the beyond and return there again, here for a moment in time, to give all we can here between heaven, we're between heaven, Is this all just a story we're making up? Are we thoughts in the mind of God? Is this all just a journey to remember to love, no matter what trials may come?
I choose to remember to stay awake, no matter the situation, and with every turn may always make love my initiation.
I choose to remember to stay awake, no matter the situation, and with every turn may I always make love my initiation. Here between heaven, we're between heaven.
and return there again. Here for a moment in time to give all we can here between heaven.
Heaven is the only place there is. That's what I think Charlie was talking about in the song. So we give thanks for all the offerings sent to this ministry today and this week, and the week to come, for all of the good intentions, for all of the love, for all of your presence with this ministry and during this time together. It's been so challenging. Thank you for being Unity Church in Albany with us all here. And we ask God's blessing upon all that we offer. So we have a Youth of the World blessing. Let's go right to that. Bring to mind any young people in your lives. See them before you, and we're going to say this blessing for them as we say, God loves you and accepts you just the way you are, and I love you and accept you just the way you are. I behold the Christ you are. And take a moment to hear them say that back to you. Thank you. We know that there's truth to that little exercise that we do. We do see the Christ and acknowledge the Christ in one another. And we have now a prayer for protection. We'll say that. Together we say, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all of us. So I know that many of you registered for John's workshop during the service. Our wonderful office assistant administrator, Nina, is watching those and sending out emails with the Zoom link. So join John at 1 o'clock for that. It'll be a wonderful 2-hour time with John and with all. I noticed there were a lot that signed up this morning. So it'll be a really wonderful time. We're going to close. Well, sort of close. We have another little thing, as we often do. Do stay for that if you can. Leave it on in the background if you got to go put the tea on or whatever. We'll sing this with us. Let my life be prayer. Here we go.
Let my life be prayer. Oh, let my life be prayer. Oh, let my life be prayer. Surely you will see me through.
I'm going to ask Carol to sing her verse this second. Ready?
From the moment that I wake up till I go to sleep at night, I offer up my work and words, bring them to the light. Let me feel the power through which we all unite. Let my life be
Just for
prayer.
it. Everybody.
Let my life be prayer. Oh, let my life be prayer. Oh, let my life be prayer. Surely you will see me through.
Gerri.
I do not need to worry, though I know that cares will come. I do not need to hurry, for I know that will be done. I just need to trust and in our faith walk on. Let my life be prayer.
Sing it out now.
Let my life be prayer. Oh, let my life be prayer. Oh, let my life be prayer. Surely you will see me through. Surely you will see me through.
I threw Carol under the bus there. Sorry.
I know. I was thinking, what are you doing to her? She doesn't know.
She wasn't supposed to sing that verse. So we have one. Gerri has a song to sing for you. You might have heard someone else sing it on your TV set on Wednesday evening. And I got a finger for capo.
I'll just do one time through.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm so good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Rivers running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies out having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. And this new dawn is a new day, is a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Have a
Peace,
great week.
everybody.